The V-wire was wrapped up in the chain, so I couldn't remember if this clock had one or not, but it did have one. It's wrapped up in the chains. If you're having a problem with your clock staying running, even though it's in beat, and you replace the U-wire and you replace the V-wire, I cannot stress this enough, and I've talked about this in other videos. If your pendulum bob is loose, or if this piece right here that attaches to the pendulum stick is loose, or if it's not bent right, it will stop your clock. My friend, the clock that I went and was helping him out with, he's like, Mark, it would work with a short pendulum, but when I put the longer pendulum on, the clock stopped within a few minutes. And I'm like, put a different pendulum on. And he couldn't understand why. I'm like, check the pendulum out and make sure the bob's not loose, and make sure this piece right here is not loose and that it's bent right. And he has medical issues, and I wasn't getting through to him. And then we talked again last night, and I'm like, put a different pendulum on. He's like, Mark, I tried two. I'm like, yeah, you tried the short one and it stays running. You tried the long one and it quits running. Put a different pendulum on, one that you know works. Take one that off of your clock that it's working. And finally, I talked him into swapping pendulums, and the clock has ran for well over 6 hours, where it was stopping within a few minutes with the right size pendulum on. And I say the right size pendulum because most movements have got markings on the movement that tell you how long the pendulum is supposed to be. And let me get a movement out. Let's see if I can find one that has those markings on it. It might take me a little bit. Here we go, right here. This movement right here says the pendulum needs to be 23.5 centimeters. That is not the pendulum length. That information is from this section right here to the middle of the pendulum bob, where the pendulum bob would be when it's hanging on the clock correctly. And she had a short pendulum on it, but the longer pendulum, and this pendulum leader normally just sticks out of the case maybe an inch, if that. So if you have a longer pendulum leader on, in order for that clock to work, from, in this case, from here to the middle of the pendulum bob, it's going to be 23.5 centimeters. And so, anyway, the shorter pendulum didn't work, and when he put a longer pendulum on it, the clock wouldn't stay running that long. So I'm like, before I was telling him, check the pendulum bob, see if it's loose. Check the bracket to see if it's loose. And I don't think he understood quite what I was telling him. So finally, he last night he listened to me and he got a different pendulum out, and it's still running as far as I know of. And it's an 8-day clock, and he's been having a heck of a problem with it. And I say this in other videos. If this pendulum bob wobbles back and forth really loose on the stick, the vibration, because as it moves, the pendulum swings, the bob is going to stop your clock. If this is loose, as the pendulum swings, if this is loose, it's going to stop your clock because it moves and this is loose and the pendulum swings as this is moving and it's going to stop your clock. So make sure all that stuff is tight. And of course, I've already talked about the B wire and U wire in several videos, but it could very well be a loose pendulum that is stopping your clock. And if you have a bunch of cuckoo clocks in your house, take one off that's a clock that's working and see if it's going to make that particular clock work. And this is an easy way to tell whether or not you have a bare spot on the V wire or the U wire. As you can see, it's ticking away. I stop it, it ticks. I stop it, it ticks. I stop it, it ticks. I stop it, I stop it, I stop it. Anyway, I keep on stopping and it ticks. But as soon as I put the pendulum on, it's going to stop within a minute, if that. As you can see, it's swinging fine, but it's fixing to stop. And that's because there's a bare spot on that B wire. It stopped. And I think I've already showed this in earlier part of this video, but here you can see there's a flat spot all the way around, and that's the part that hangs on that U wire. Trying to get this thing to show the other spot. And you can see there's a flat spot all the way around this wire. And that's why it stops. And you can't really hang the pendulum leader wire to that. You would have been able to, except for there's a flat spot right there in the middle. So I'm going to have to make a V wire for this clock. This V wire isn't the best I made. However, the clock's been running for 5 minutes now, where before, within a minute, it would stop. Again, if the V wire's got flat spots in it, it's going to stop your clock. I had everything working properly on this thing until I tried to get the minute hand straight up and down. And that's why I don't like about this square hole minute hands. This lever right here, which comes off the minute pipe, off these two pins, on the back of it, when I lift it up, you will see this wire right here. And the warning pin, it hits that wire until this lever drops. Somehow that wire got bent down to where it was catching onto the 8-point star wheel. teeth. So I'm gonna put this thing back together, but I'm gonna put a round hole minute hand on it, and just like I have other videos where you can adjust it um, by loosening up the nut, put the hand where you want it, and that way, because whatever you adjust here affects everything inside the movement. That wire is also what lifts this lever here up to come out of the count wheel. And so it all has to be adjusted just properly. And it's a pain in the butt to adjust to get the hand straight up and down. And that's what I don't like about the square hole minute hands. The Herbert Hur clocks are the same way. They were designed like these count wheel clocks because they have square hole minute hands on them. So I'm going to do what I normally do and do it my way. Now, Lisa, when you get this thing, if the music isn't stopping, more than likely it's because this lever right here has moved on you. It's easy to move back and forth, but it has to be positioned just right to stop that governor pin, to stop the music. And right now it's positioned just right. As you can see, it's stopping the governor pin. But if music continues to play, you're going to have to open up this back door and reposition this lever. You can video chat with me and I'll talk you through it. So I got the movement back into the case, and I normally don't put the rings and hooks on, but with all the issues that I've been having with this clock, something has to go right. Now I have to do some bellow repair because somebody put aluminum foil to repair bellows and it didn't work. With bellow repair, you have to clean it off really well or the glue's not going to stick. And one of the most important things that you need to do is blow in that hole to make sure it works. Because if it don't work, this is called the reed, and it's probably in the wrong spot, or there's dirt daubers, spiders, crap inside of this tube. And I've got a video that explains, I actually take a bellow apart and show you how it works. This reed, the air actually comes over this piece of wood, underneath this reed, goes into the chamber, and then back out. And that's how it works. But anyway, I'm going to do these bellows off camera. And you want to see how I repair bellows? Go to my YouTube channel and search for bellow repair. When I do bellow repair, I like doing things fast. And I don't know what kind of wood Poppo used, but super glue, the liquid super glue, doesn't work. You have to use super glue gel or contact cement or whatever. I use super glue. I use crazy glue. I use Durabond. It doesn't work. It keeps coming off. And I'm fresh out of super glue gel. As you can see, it doesn't stick. So I'm going to have to get some super glue gel before I can continue. Looked around again in my bellow package, and I did have some super glue gel. And as you can see, I got the hinge on. Now to finish it. One down, one to go. This one is a replacement bellow. This is not the original bellow. As you can see, Poppo bellow, different bellow. Totally different system. And this is the way, high note, low note. And that's the way the clock, the bellows go into the clock, like so. Now I've got the right bellow in, but because I had to use different levers and I used them from an AMS movement, I had to bend the arms to allow the bellows to work. And like I said, I like doing things one step at a time. So now I need to put the left bellow in. Left bellow wasn't making that much noise, and you can see I used the original screw holes. But this screw hole right here, it's part of where the music comes, not music, but where the noise comes out. So I'm going to raise this bellow up some to make different holes because the screw shouldn't be in that area right there. Build in the holes with some Aliens glue and put some blue tape around it to fill the holes in. And before I put new holes in this thing, I got my clamp here because you want to make sure this hole is very important. Where the bellow fits in that hole is very important. So you want to make sure that it's making noise before you decide that you want to put a screw in. And I'm okay with that spot, so I'm going to put some screws in. You might want to consider pre-drilling your holes. No longer works. But watch what happens when I squeeze this. With me putting the hole in, it split the wood. So now I have to glue this. So it makes noise. And if you watch my other videos, I tell you the more holes that you put in this, you're going to change the noise. That's where the screw goes, so that's why I build in those holes and put the blue tape on it, because notice it gets louder when I cover up that bottom hole. That's because this is hollow, probably from here up. Now I have to wait for this to dry. I told you if this brass lever here on the music box is not positioned right, the music will keep playing also. But also the wire that the bird hits, if it's too close to the bird post, it's going to tilt this music box system and the music will keep playing. So when the bird comes back in, when the music is done, you have to make sure that this wire here is away from the bird post or the clock will keep playing music. I'll show you this again later when I put it on a stand. I don't have any hands that will fit. I just got through giving some of my hands away to a friend of mine, And apparently, anyway, I don't have any hands that would fit, but I got some minor adjustments to do on the low note lift wire. But as you can see at Cuckoo's, music plays. When the music is done, it stops. I had the wrong weight on the Cuckoo side. Anyway, I'm going to have to talk to the owner about some hands. But this clock is up and running. I hope y'all like this video. May God bless each and every one of you. I told you I was going to talk about the wires. You can see the little post that comes off the little man. That stops him from going too far outside the door. Same way with the Cuckoo. There's a little post that comes off the Cuckoo. Let me see if I can get a pointer in here. There's a post right here. And a post right here on the Cuckoo. And that stops them from going too far outside. They hit the frame of the clock. And then the Cuckoo, like I said, the wire that it trips to activate the music, when it comes back inside, it has to be away from that wire in order for the music to stop. If not, it'll keep on playing the music. And I told you that that bar has to be adjusted or the music's gonna play, and that's why the music is playing. This that bar on the music box, it has to be adjusted to stop the governor fan, and it needs adjusted just a little bit. I have it adjusted. Now the music plays. But that was only half hour. When I'm going to show you on the hour. And you can hear the music's not playing, and that's because that bar is stopping that governor fan. Now the fan is spinning. There's like a a U bar that's underneath the music assembly, and you can turn that to the left or to the right to stop the governor fan. That's what I was getting at.